So I just watched the new Final Destination Bloodlines movie about a day ago. I meant to get to it around the time where I actually saw it, but I couldn't find the time except for right now. So anyway, I just saw the new Final Destination and it was pretty good. It wasn't, the greatest movie of all time. It wasn't unwatchable garbage filth or anything, but it was pretty good. I did have a good time. Of course, the kills were brutal as shit. It's Final Destination. In horror movies in general nowadays, I don't feel like there's like a lot of horror movies that come out nowadays where you could be like, oh, that's not like a gory, bloody mess or something like that. I feel like every horror movie is a bloody mess, so we're all kind of used to it at this point. But so Final Destination, when it comes to the gore, is no exception. To talk about a few things that I liked about the film, one of them is being the kills, I guess, like I was just talking about. I do think they are the setups for the kills are like well done. It's like it is suspenseful, although it was getting like a little annoying watching the movie, especially if you're like familiar with the Final Destination franchise like I am. It gets a little annoying because they do this thing where it's like it'll zoom in on like a random object. Like say if my house was like a Final Destination setup right now, and as I'm doing something, it'll just randomly zoom in on my mouse or randomly zoom in on this fucking Welch's pack of fruit snacks, right? Like it'll just do like this random pushing on shit, and cause it is supposed to make me think like, oh, this is gonna be like what kills them and shit like that. But then it'll do it, but then it'll like literally lead to nowhere. It'll do it and nothing will happen after. So that does get a little bit annoying. But besides that, I do think the kills are well done. Of course, I think there was like CG blood here and there, but it does look fine. I think so. So yeah, I do enjoy that about the film. Another thing that I thought was done actually surprisingly well was the characters in the movie. I do think the characters were pretty entertaining to watch. They like there was like a handful of lines in the movie that like had me like in the theaters openly laughing, because it's rare for like a horror movie to like get me actually like laughing out loud. But this movie, it did have me do that a couple of times, especially the one I can't remember anybody's name from the movie, but it was the one dude with the black hair. Like he had the emo vibe going on. That dude, I thought he was pretty funny throughout the film. But yeah, I do think the characters were pretty enjoyable to watch. I don't because especially nowadays in movies, I think like characters with movies with younger characters can be pretty annoying, like obnoxious types. But I don't think they do it too far. Again, they are pretty entertaining to watch. The acting is good. I think it's got pretty solid acting. I can't. I don't know the woman who plays the mom with the big family. I think she's a fantastic fucking actor. I'm not sure who her name is, but I think she's a goated ass actor. I want to see her in some more shit. Even though I said I like the characters in the movie, they do at times still do some pretty questionably like, I think, dumb shit. But it's just like at this point, with how many horror movies I've seen and with the amount of tropes that I know that can be in horror movies, a small part of me has just kind of like accepted like, in order for some things to play out in horror movies, the characters have got to be fucking lobotomites, okay? But okay, there's been plenty of times and plenty of horror movies where there's been scenes where it's like that wouldn't happen because nobody in that scene would be this stupid and would just actually use their functioning brain to do this smart idea and not this dumbass idea. But anyway, that we all know how horror movies are, and there's a couple of those decisions like throughout the movie. I think so, like especially when everybody the kills first start popping off, the girl, the main character, she's trying to convince her family that, hey, there's this fucking malevolent force, death, is trying to fucking kill us in the most brutal fucking way possible. It could see around us and shit. We can literally have an anvil fall on our goddamn foot, and then we fall backwards, our leg pop off, and then we crack our skull in the fucking concrete, and as our face hit the floor, a fucking semi truck runs over our goddamn head, our shit explodes. Like that's the fucked up ways death is killing motherfuckers now. It's no longer just, oh, you get in a car action, you get in a car crash, you die. No, he's got to kill you in some extravagant type shit now. Now, if you watched the Final Destination movies before, like basically any of them before this one, you would know that basically the movies start off by the main characters, they're doing something like in the first movie, it was Alex Browning. He was going on a plane trip to Paris or London, I think it was, and he saw the premonition of the plane crash. The chick in Final Destination Part 2, she was driving on the highway, she saw the premonition of the car crash on the highway. In Final Destination 3, she saw the roller coaster incident, yada yada yada. They see the premonition of this huge cataclysmic accident that's gonna happen, and everybody, including themselves around them, is gonna die, and there's this order that they're supposed to die in. The main character that gets the vision, they prevent a whole lot of people from dying in this accident. This accident happens, it ends up killing people, but the people all the people who were supposed to die in the incident, some ended up escaping, and that's when death starts taking them out in brutal fucking ways, one by one. But that's not how this movie like really kind of starts off. Like to kind of get into it, the movie starts off in like the 1950s or 60s. It's like a flashback scene, and we follow this couple. I forgot the name of everybody in this movie, excuse me. But we follow this couple, and they're going to this. When I saw this, I was like, okay, there's no fucking way this could ever be a real building, and we see why it will never be a real building. They go to like this sky bridge shit. It's like it's this building with a singular elevator tower, and it goes up. It is like this restaurant club type area in the fucking sky, and it was like it's like there's no fucking way they would never ever build a real life building like that. If they do, nobody would ever set foot in that bitch. Like there's no way. Anyway, as the flashback continues, we see the huge cataclysmic event of this movie, and of course it's this fucking building collapsing and falling apart and people dying and shit, very very predictably so, all because there's this little kid running around all by himself and like supposed to be this like all adult grown up area. For some reason this little nigga looks like literally Chucky, bro. Like I'm telling you, he looks like if Chucky morphed into a human being when he's the doll. Like it was freaking me out when I was watching it. But it's all because this little nigga decided to throw a fucking penny, and it got perfectly scooped up in like the air vent and type shit. And like, of course, because this is death working its magic and shit, trying to kill motherfuckers. It gets scooped up in the air vent and then clogged up in the air vent fans in the air conduction system, right? And that starts fucking shit up, and then some shit falls off the chandelier in the dance hall, which is fucking see-through pure glass. Of course it is. Yeah, you want to stand and jumping around on glass when women especially back in the 50s and 60s, women wearing them fucking sharp ass heels and shit, dancing and getting down and jiggy and shit. Yeah, that's a smart fucking idea. That glass totally ain't gonna fucking shatter. But anyway, the glass ends up shattering, motherfuckers ends up dying and shit, and basically everybody ends up dying. There's people who fall down, there's people who get crushed, there's people who get burned to death and shit. Motherfuckers is dying. And in that vision, it doesn't come back from the original person of who had that vision. We flash forward into the future with our actual main character of the movie, who was having a vision of her. We find out later in the movie she was having a vision of her grandma, who had that vision in the past, because again later in the film we find out that the grandma had that vision, and she saved everybody who was in there who was supposed to die in the sky bridge collapse. But she ended up making so where the sky bridge had never collapsed in the first place, and saved all those people. But it's explained later on that throughout the years, death has been slowly killing off the people and their families who weren't supposed to exist if they died in the original incident, right? So it's been slowly killing off those people. And when that part came up, I thought it was like, oh, okay, are they gonna like connect it to like the other Final Destinations? Or are they like, are they saying like the like Alex Browning's family was like his family members, like his great grandpa and grandmama and some shit was in the Sky Bridge? Like, were they saying the girl from Final Destination 2 was her like great grandmama, great grandparents at the Sky Bridge? I thought like they were gonna like pull like that, but they didn't really connect it like that. They didn't really do it, anything like that. And I just thought like, oh, okay, like that was kind of an easy miss. Like I feel like they could have, maybe they did, maybe I just missed it or something, but I feel like they could have weaved it in a type of way, like the people who we've seen been getting killed in these horrific fucking ways in the previous movies. You know, there's a reason, because their grandparents were at this place and that they were supposed to die in, and these people, as a consequence of them dying in that incident, they were literally never going to exist in the first place if they would have died in the incident. So they didn't do that, but I thought they was, but I don't know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. To get back to talking about that emo guy from earlier who I thought was funny, there was a scene where we find out I believe it was after one of the sisters had died. There's the scene where they're talking about how their emo guy is not the son of the dad who died and is part of kicking this whole thing off, because the son, along with his sister, is the children of the original lady who saw the vision and who saved everybody, right? Those are her kids, and her son was just you know, got by death. And we find out that the emo kid is not actually that dude's son. Mama had an affair, and he's actually that dude's kid, right? Like that's like his brother and sister. That's his half brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? So it turns out he isn't even. They say he's not even part of the order, but which makes sense, because the mom, like spoiler alert, the mom, she does end up surviving because she's not part of the original family. She was just married into it. She's just the mom. So because she's not a part of that family, her and the girls that end up surviving at the end of the movie, because they're not a part of like the bloodline of that family, right? And so that would mean that dude is also not a part of the bloodline of the family that death is after. But I call complete and utter bullshit, because there's a scene when he's at his tattoo parlor shop where it's like it's set up in a way was like his shit catches on fire. The ceiling fan swings a chain into his fucking nose ring, starts pulling him into the ceiling fan and shit. Like all kinds of just magical, fantastical shit is happening. But then we find out that he's not even part of the order. So it's like, you telling me literally all of this shit happened just randomly? Like this was truly a freak fucking accident? I call bullshit on that. Way too much shit happened for that to just be a random freak, just natural occurrence. There's no fucking way. He's most definitely on the list, especially with what happens later. What happens later when he gets killed by the wheelchair. I guess you can argue that was like him just being at the wrong place at the wrong time and just getting the fuck in the way, I guess. But I don't know, bro. With that tattoo parlor shit, is either death was breaking his own rule or whatever, not giving a fuck or whatever. He was most definitely on the list. There's no way that was just a random set of occurrences. There's no fucking way. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep on rambling, keep talking about it. If you're interested in watching the movie, I say go for it. I think it's worth the watch. If I have to rate it, I say 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, not a absolute banger time, not the greatest movie of all time, but it's also not a shit movie. I think if you're familiar with the series, if you're familiar with horror movies in general, I think it'll be an enjoyable watch. I think you're gonna have a good time. if you're not into blood and guts and all that shit, I don't think this is a movie for you. I don't think the horror movie genre, especially nowadays, is for you. But you know, yeah, it's just a warning. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Go check it out. Peace out.